Hello, once more. I am back in my standard Vanguard 3 today, and I know I've not released any videos on it lately. That's not for want of material, it's just collating all the clips and making them into a video. Some jobs have dragged on and they're just awaiting a conclusion, really. But today is going to be a nice, simple job. Well, I hope it's a simple job. It shouldn't present too many difficulties, really. So, without further ado, I'll explain what the issue is. Now, you see here, when I just scooch over. When I come to start the car, it won't work now. It's not going to start now because there's no battery connected up. But when I come to start the car, like so, this is a key switch ignition, so it operates the starter as well. So this first position is the ignition on, and then the second position operates the starter. Now that should spring back, you see. It should be spring loaded, and you have to hold it there. Then when the engine fires, you release it, and the key should spring back by itself to position 1. The engine's running. Well, it's not doing that, and that is causing the starter motor to remain energized, to remain in mesh with the ring gear, which is no good at all. So there's something wrong with this key switch. It's either a broken spring, or if I'm lucky, it may just require a squirt of penetrating oil. I've tried that through the actual key hole, but that it doesn't go as far as the switch, you see. There's what's the word I'm looking for? This lock barrel is a separate item, right? The idea being you can replace the key switch and just swap lock barrels over. So it doesn't go all the way through. There's not a hole all the way through to the internals of the switch, is what I'm trying to say. So that's off, you see. Ignition on, engine start, key isn't returning. So there's a problem there, okay. And on eBay, I was scouting eBay, and one chap was breaking a standard ensign. Well, it seemed that way, but the only parts listed were just a handful of things, but amongst them was this assembly. So I've got a light switch, spare light switch, which comes in handy, and what I'm after today, a spare ignition switch, and it's a Lucas S60. Yeah, it's an S60. Not focusing again, sorry. But I can operate this now, and I can show you how it should be, just in case you don't know how an ignition switch works. I'm going to demonstrate it now. Right, so it's off at the moment. That's the first position, ignition on, and then if I can do this, you see that's engine start, and the key returns. You hear it clicking by itself, and then to switch off, you just turn it off, okay. So what I'm going to do is, I don't need this entire sub-assembly. What I'm going to do is remove this switch, and I'm going to remove the lock barrel from it, and I'm just going to use this switch. I've already sprayed that with penetrating oil, and it's improved the action tenfold, you see. So just pop that down there. It's going to require a bit of disassembly. This trim, the aluminium trim, needs to come off, and that bracket holding the light switch and ignition switch fastened behind that. Now I can feel behind this thing, and it feels like some very, very small machine screws, so I'm guessing they are 2BA, just a guess. But I've got a couple of spanners here, just you know, the most common sizes. One of them's AF, and that's duplicated in this ring spanner here, and this is my 2BA. So that's what I'm going to have a go at now. I'm going to need both hands for that, and provided those fastenings aren't completely rusted solid, it should be reasonably straightforward. I'll have to remove the light switch knob as well, but that's not a big job. So I'll see you in just a moment when I should have this off. It turns out I was wrong about removing that aluminium trim. Well, you have to be a contortionist to get under here to look, and it's awkward even though I'm slim really, but the bolts the fastenings I could feel were these here, so that's what has to be undone, and that'll bring the sub-assembly out. So I've just got to undo them, and I'll remove the light switch from there. One thing I was correct about is the size of these fastenings, and they were indeed this here 1/4 inch AF, so that was nice. And with those two removed, I can now withdraw this like so, and I can access the terminals there at the back, you see. And top tip from me, well, there's two ways of going about this. One is to look at the wiring diagram, but if you don't have one, then you can make a note of the wiring colours and which terminal they go to, because they're all numbered 1, 2 and 3. Or just take a picture on your camera phone. So I'll pardon me, I'll remove the wires, remove the switch, and then I'm going to show you how to swap lock barrels over. Fortunately for me, the wiring has been cut through on this spur switch, so I don't need to make a note of the connections there, but you can see what I mean with them being numbered there. You can just about make that out. Number 1 there and number 3 down here at the bottom, so that's fine. The broken switch is now removed, and I took the opportunity to clean up the wiring and terminals there to examine it. Grub screws, I mean, you can see why they had to go over to Lucar spade terminals, really. Quick release fastening and quick assembly because of the amount of time this took on assembly lines. And I do like these, nice though they are, they had to go. One of the good things though is you don't have to withdraw the screw completely and risk losing it or fiddling about reinserting it again. You just slacken them off enough, because the terminals there are slotted, you see, so they only need to be loosened enough to allow those to be withdrawn. Okay, next thing is to withdraw the lock from this, and I'm gonna do that now. This little hole here contains a pin which locks the key barrel into position now, much like the light switch and wiper switch knobs. And the stupid bloody camera likes to focus on a mind of its own. It really does annoy me, this. I'm sorry about it, but I've no control over it. As I was saying anyway, stupid camera, as a security measure, you need the key to get the lock barrel in the right position for this, because just pressing it in now with it locked does nothing, you see. That's a security measure. So you need the key to be able to do it, and you just turn it to the first notch. I'm really sorry about this focusing, folks. I don't know how to lock the damn focus. It'll be over soon. Now I can press it, I can feel the spring there. So now I can withdraw the lock barrel now. It's coming. There, you see. Right, so it's unlocked and out the way. So that's the old switch, and you see what I mean about it just being a recess. You can't get to the inside of the switch through there. It's purely for the lock barrel. So I'm gonna this is hopeless. I'm gonna put this one in the spare one, which is a lot easier than trying to make a video. It's back in, it's wired up, new switch, second hand one with the right key barrel. I'll just swap that over. Top tip from me: before you reinstall it and, you know, go to the trouble of reattaching it, fitting it all up, just before you do that, hook the battery up and test it. It could save a lot of aggro and crosswords. You'll have to take my word for it. I've just done that now. It works as it should, so I'm happy with that. So all that's left to do now is reattach it all and put it there. And I'm actually thinking I could transpose that light switch and wiper switch. I could swap them over, because I've mentioned this before in a previous video, that it seemed to be at odds to have the screen washer switch there next to the light switch, and then the wiper over here, making clearing the screen a two-handed job, really. So I'm tempted to do that, because there's plenty of spare length on the wires there. Wouldn't involve cutting any, of course. I never do that, those who follow me. So yeah, I'm tempted to do that. The only thing would be at odds with the instruction manual. Something to think about anyway. And I'll do an autopsy on that duff switch. That'll be a separate video in itself, because it will be helpful for a whole range of Lucas switches of this period, because you can see they're all broadly similar at the back and as to how they were manufactured. The reality is you wouldn't repair them. They were not meant to be repaired. You just threw it away and fitted a replacement, but you can, if you're determined to, strip them down. So that's for another video. I've still got to do the dip switches as well, haven't I? I've not forgotten about that. So I'm just gonna put that back in place now. Done. And yes, you will see I have swapped them over. So that added a lot of time to the job. But I am much happier now with these alternate switch positions. Makes a lot more sense to me, because even on the first cars of these, they had the wipers and the screen washer combined, so that's a lot easier now doing that than having to press that and then go over there. So there we are, and the key now springs back as it should, works as it should. Right, that's it. Now I must go, because I feel a period of torpor coming on. Ciao.